Introduction and early popularity. Annette Funicello's story is one of remarkable stardom, spanning decades of American pop culture history. Even today, her name evokes nostalgia for the golden years of the Mickey Mouse Club and the carefree fun of the 1960s beach movies. Tragic final days of Annette Funicello. The real reason why she passed away is a question that still resonates with many who followed her life and admired her energy. During her heyday at Walt Disney Pictures, Annette Funicello was, without exaggeration, a phenomenon. In fact, she received more fan mail than two of Disney's most iconic leading men, Mickey Mouse and Zorro, a testament to her star power. To teenagers and children of the 1950s, she represented the perfect dream girl. She offered a wholesome yet captivating presence that captured the hearts of America's youth. Males found her appealing as they watched her transform from a young, shy mouseketeer to a confident teen who bloomed into a buxom beauty on screen. Females admired her for her genuine sweetness, sincerity, and that radiant smile that became her signature. She was so well loved among her fan base that she was known simply by her first name, Annette, a level of familiarity and adoration that few stars have ever achieved. Annette's rise to fame coincided with a period of immense growth in television programming, particularly for younger audiences. The 1950s marked the expansion of family-friendly TV shows, and Disney capitalized on this trend through a variety of innovative ideas. The Mickey Mouse Club became one of these groundbreaking platforms, an after-school staple that grabbed the imagination of millions of kids across the nation. This was a time when television was increasingly becoming accessible to more American households, and the excitement surrounding Disney's ventures meant that the show's cast members could become overnight sensations. Annette, as it turned out, became the brightest star among them, overshadowing even beloved fictional characters like Mickey Mouse and action heroes like Zorro in terms of fan correspondence. Her appeal wasn't merely rooted in looks. Yes, she was beautiful, but her charm and humility set her apart in a Hollywood environment often characterized by glitz and glamour. Annette presented a different kind of celebrity, a polite, unassuming presence who, despite her burgeoning fame, maintained a disarming sense of approachability. Her fans felt like they knew her personally. This authenticity was a cornerstone of Walt Disney's brand image during that era. Family-friendly, kind, and relatable. Annette personified all of these qualities. During the years 1955 to 1959, when the Mickey Mouse Club aired, America was witnessing a post-war optimism. Suburbs were expanding. The baby boom generation was growing up, and television was a central piece of household entertainment. Annette's on-screen transformation from a little girl to a blossoming teen resonated with viewers who were growing up alongside her. Many young fans, especially girls, looked up to her as a role model, someone who balanced a sense of innocence with a dawning independence. Her immediate family life, as we'll explore, was not exactly immersed in show business from the start, which perhaps added to her relatable nature. She wasn't the child of famous Hollywood power players or an individual groomed from birth for the spotlight. Instead, Annette's childhood was fairly ordinary and came with its own economic struggles. Yet, despite these obstacles, she became one of the most recognized and celebrated pop culture icons of her time. When reflecting on her later years, fans remember her infectious smile, her adorable teen persona, and her unwavering authenticity. But as we delve deeper, we will find that her life story contained both the fairy tale rise to prominence and the heartbreaking decline caused by a debilitating illness. From the joyous Disney days to the romantic beach films, and finally to her brave battle with multiple sclerosis, Annette Funicello's life and legacy continue to inspire generations. Early life and family background. Annette Joanne Funicello was born on October 22, 1942, in Utica, New York, to Italian-American parents Virginia Jean and Joseph Edward Funicello. Utica, at that time, was a small city known for its diverse communities of European immigrants, which included a substantial Italian-American population. This heritage played an important role in shaping Annette's early worldview. As a young child, she learned the importance of close family ties and a strong sense of cultural identity, values that stayed with her as she ventured into Hollywood. When Annette was just 4 years old, her family made the cross-country move to California. At that time, California was bursting with post-war opportunities, offering warmer weather, new industries, and the promise of a better life for those willing to make the leap. For Joseph Funicello, who worked as a mechanic, relocating to California was also about ensuring better education for his children. The family left behind the snowy winters and modest prospects of Utica for the sun-drenched possibilities of the West Coast. But their early years in California were anything but glamorous. They faced considerable financial difficulty and, for a while, had to live in a trailer park. At that time, the post-war housing boom in California hadn't fully stabilized, and many families were improvising with their living situations. For the Funicellos, this modest living arrangement meant scraping by until Joseph could secure stable employment as a mechanic. Despite these hardships, the move eventually proved fruitful. Joseph found steady work, which allowed them to transition into a more comfortable life in California. The state's vibrant atmosphere of ambition and optimism likely proved infectious for the young Annette, too. Annette grew up alongside her two brothers, Joey and Michael, both of whom likely served as anchors to her early life. Sibling relationships during childhood can be pivotal, especially when families move frequently or face financial hurdles. These familial bonds may have contributed to the sense of groundedness and humility that Annette carried with her throughout her career. She did not grow up in a Hollywood bubble. Instead, she experienced firsthand the challenges of making ends meet. Even in the family's most difficult days, Annette found excitement in the performing arts. Some people recall that from a very young age she showed a flair for dancing and an unusual knack for entertaining others. If you imagine a child in a cramped trailer park, quietly practicing her dance steps, it might evoke a poignant image of her determination. Dancing or playing the drums were outlets for her, ways to express herself and catch glimpses of a world beyond the limitations of her immediate surroundings. Crucially, her parents recognized her talents and supported her desire to explore them. Many families might have shied away from the notion of their child entering the entertainment industry, especially in a precarious financial situation. But the Funicellos took those first steps, enrolling Annette in dance and acting lessons. By this point, the seeds of her future stardom were firmly planted. California, after all, was the epicenter of the film and television industry, and it wasn't unheard of for casting agents and talent scouts to discover new talent in the unlikeliest of places, like local dance studios. In many ways, Annette's early background laid the foundation for her success on the Mickey Mouse Club. She wasn't a polished professional from birth, nor did she come from a lineage of entertainers. Instead, she was a relatable face, a sweet, somewhat bashful girl next door who happened to possess great potential. Walt Disney himself would later recognize the appeal in casting an authentic, endearing youngster who could connect with a wide audience. This blend of modest origins, family unity, and an emerging talent for dance and acting created the blueprint for the Annette Funicello that millions of people fell in love with. Because of her background, she carried herself with an aura of relatability, a trait that would become a key component of her enduring appeal as a star. Audiences saw in her a reflection of their own aspirations, dreams, and vulnerabilities. Overcoming shyness through performance. Despite Annette's budding interest in performing arts, she was naturally a shy child, at least at first. One might wonder how a shy girl becomes a national celebrity, but often it's precisely through disciplined training and a passion for the craft that an individual blossoms. As soon as she moved to California, her fascination with acting and dancing grew stronger. This was the land of Hollywood, where dreams could come true if one had enough talent, persistence, and a bit of luck. Annette's parents decided to invest in her performing skills by enrolling her in professional lessons, both in acting and various forms of dance. She also pursued other activities, such as playing the drums, that would eventually help her stand out. During the 1950s, the idea of a young girl playing the drums might have seemed quite novel. This unique interest could have positioned her favorably in auditions, showcasing her well-rounded entertainment abilities. More importantly, these lessons gave her a structured way to channel her energy and gain the self-confidence she needed to overcome her reserved nature. Throughout this period, Annette took part in local beauty pageants, a relatively common pastime for many girls in mid-century America. These competitions allowed participants to display not only their physical grace, but also their stage presence and talent. Beauty pageants might be small-scale local affairs or larger regional events, but in any case, they served as a chance to practice poise and public performance. Annette, with her growing skills, succeeded in earning titles, including the locally held Miss Willow Lake Beauty Contest. Although child beauty contests today can be controversial, in that era, they were seen as innocent community engagements, often doubling as talent showcases. Modeling further helped Annette find her confidence in front of crowds and cameras. A modeling gig, even for local advertisements or small projects, pushes a performer to engage with the camera lens, to communicate emotion and personality through posture and expression. This likely helped her develop an on-screen spark that would later captivate television viewers. Ballet, however, was the discipline that truly transformed her life. Ballet training demands extraordinary dedication, teaching students everything from posture and timing to discipline and perseverance. Dancers learn to carry themselves with grace, and that sense of poise often translates into other areas of performance. It was during one of these ballet classes that a fateful encounter would change Annette's life forever. In the audience observing the class was none other than Walt Disney. That she captured the attention of such a towering figure in entertainment while simply doing what she loved, dancing, highlights her natural magnetism. It was as if the unique blend of her innate shyness and her learned confidence in performance created a special aura around her. She showed the potential to be, in Walt Disney's eyes, a fresh face who could embody the wholesome ideals that would define the brand. Although she was shy in her everyday life, performance gave Annette a platform to break out of her shell. She could become a different version of herself on stage or in front of the camera, one that embodied the grace and spirit that would fascinate an entire generation. This transformation, shy child to luminous performer, would remain a common theme throughout her early years in show business. Discovery by Walt Disney. Walt Disney's discovery of Annette Funicello is almost the stuff of legend. At the time, Walt Disney was already an influential mogul. The Disney empire included animated features, television shows, and a growing presence in the realm of theme parks, with Disneyland having opened in 1955. He was known for his near-mythic ability to recognize talent and for meticulously nurturing it, so that it fit into the wholesome, family-friendly ethos of his brand. When Disney spotted Annette performing a dance routine in her ballet class, he saw something in her that others might have overlooked. Maybe it was her unmistakable stage presence or the way she carried herself despite her shyness. Whatever it was, he immediately recognized her potential to become one of Disney's rising stars. He extended an invitation for her to audition for the new Mickey Mouse Club, a show that Disney was launching in the mid-1950s. Annette auditioned alongside roughly 200 other hopeful children, each one undoubtedly eager to earn a spot in this major production. Although she was the last one chosen, her selection by Walt Disney himself became a point of pride and a testament to her specific appeal. She carried the weight of high expectations from the very start. Being Walt's pick meant that she bore the responsibility of living up to his faith in her. That faith would turn out to be more than justified. This selection process exemplified how Disney's eye for talent worked. He would hold auditions that tested not only the child's skill, but also their attitude, personality, and how they might fit into the Disney brand. The Mouseketeers, after all, were more than just performers. They were ambassadors of Disney's family values. They had to be approachable, friendly, and genuine. Annette's shy warmth made her stand out in a crowd of more extroverted hopefuls. Her authenticity fit the image that Disney wanted to cultivate. Of course, with opportunity often comes pressure. Being chosen by Disney and placed front and center in a new show meant that the stakes were high. No one knew at the time how successful the Mickey Mouse Club might become, nor how it would shape the lives of its young stars. Annette's career trajectory was about to skyrocket, but with that came the pressure to consistently deliver a charming performance that upheld Disney's reputation. This was a tall order for a young teenager. However, the same discipline and determination she had shown through ballet and acting lessons helped her navigate the demands of television production. The Mickey Mouse Club wasn't a small project. It was a substantial undertaking with music, dance, and a range of segments designed to captivate young audiences across the country. Each episode required rehearsals, script readings, choreography practices, and the maintenance of a positive on-screen persona. For a shy individual, stepping into this realm could have been daunting, but as we'll see in the next section, Annette managed not just to cope, but to thrive. Ultimately, this discovery by Walt Disney would prove to be the pivotal turning point in her life. Had she not been in that ballet class at that exact moment, her journey might have been very different. It stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of show business. Sometimes, all it takes is the right person noticing you at the right time. The Mickey Mouse Club and rising stardom Disney started the Mickey Mouse Club in the mid-1950s and hired the Mouseketeers to become more popular with children. The show became a mega success by the end of its first season, and Annette became the most popular of the Mouseketeers. The show's overall success made her doubly famous, and she started receiving numerous fan letters. A study revealed that she received about 8,000 fan letters every month, while the other members of the original club received about 800. The Mickey Mouse Club's popularity inspired several spin-off shows, such as Adventure in Dairyland and Walt Disney Presents Annette. Annette also sang a song for Walt Disney Presents Annette, which became the stepping stone of her future music career. Following the success of that song, Walt Disney offered her a professional contract, transition to live-action films, and early success. While the Mickey Mouse Club firmly established Annette as a beloved figure among television audiences, Walt Disney had further ambitions for his young star. By the late 1950s, Disney was venturing more assertively into live-action films. One of the earliest concepts was Rainbow Road to Oz, a project that aimed to bring elements of L. Frank Baum's Oz series to the big screen using the talented Mouseketeers. However, for various reasons, likely related to story development, production costs, and evolving studio priorities, Rainbow Road to Oz was eventually shelved. Still, Disney recognized that his investment in Annette's career should not be wasted. In 1959, she made her film debut in The Shaggy Dog. This comedic fantasy film, featuring Fred MacMurray, Tommy Kirk, and Tim Considine, became an unexpected smash hit. Annette portrayed Alison D'Alessio, adding a bright, bubbly dynamic to the otherwise zany storyline of a boy turning into a dog. The Shaggy Dog turned out to be the most profitable Disney release that year, reinforcing Annette's bankable star status. Following this success, Annette stayed connected with Disney and appeared in various productions. She had small roles in the series Zorro, further exposing her to television audiences, and took part in The Horsemasters, another Disney project that combined drama and equestrian excitement. As her teen fan base from the Mickey Mouse Club carried over to these new ventures, Annette's presence in these series offered a comfortable bridge from her image as a Mouseketeer to a more adolescent, on-screen persona. In the early 1960s, Disney launched a string of lighthearted family comedies, and Annette participated in several. Two particularly successful examples were The Misadventures of Merlin Jones, 1964, and The Monkey's Uncle, 1965. These comedic tales capitalized on the budding interest in teen culture, fun, harmless mischief, and a dash of romance. They also allowed Annette to refine her comedic timing and film acting skills. Each role further established her as a multi-talented Disney star, capable of handling both comedic and more conventional romantic leads. Meanwhile, Babes in Toyland, 1961, was Disney's big Christmas fantasy musical film, intended to be a showpiece. Even though it was released after her official film debut in The Shaggy Dog, the extensive production timeline meant that Babes in Toyland stands chronologically as a significant milestone in Annette's cinematic journey. The film, inspired by Victor Herbert's operetta, provided a lavish display of costumes, sets, and musical numbers. Annette's role added a youthful vibrancy, and although the film received mixed critical reception, it has since attained a certain nostalgic charm among Disney fans. By partaking in these family-oriented films, Annette solidified her good girl image, a persona that Disney cultivated and that resonated deeply with American audiences of the time. There was a distinct kind of innocence about her presence, which older fans remembered from her Mouseketeer days, and younger fans discovered anew in the comedic escapades of her characters. Notably, these roles also showcase the fact that Annette was not merely coasting on her Mickey Mouse Club fame. She was actively honing her craft and proving her capabilities as an actress who could anchor a feature film. This phase of her career laid the groundwork for the transition that would soon follow, a move into more mature roles that aimed at older teens and young adults. The shift would be subtle but significant. The notion of Annette wearing a slightly more revealing outfit or engaging in flirtatious banter marked a departure from the squeaky clean image she had cultivated. Yet audiences embraced her growth, perhaps because she made these transitions in a gradual, relatable way. She did not abandon her wholesome roots, but instead showed that she could adapt to the evolving tastes of a new decade, the 1960s, where youth culture was rapidly gaining a dominant voice. Singing career. Despite Annette's multifaceted talents, she often expressed that she did not particularly aspire to be a singer. Nonetheless, Music had a way of finding her. Her earlier stint singing in Walt Disney Presents, Annette introduced the idea that she had a likable singing voice that could resonate with young audiences. When Walt Disney offered her a professional contract to record music, it was likely a strategic move. Teenage pop music was burgeoning in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Elvis Presley, Bobby Darin, and Connie Francis were making waves, and teen idols were all the rage. Disney, never one to miss an opportunity, saw a chance to broaden Annette's appeal. Under the guidance of the Disney label and later other record producers, Annette delivered a number of memorable pop songs. These included hits like Tall Paul, First Name Initial, Puppy Love, and Toot Sweet. Her style often leaned toward the light, catchy pop tunes that teenagers would enjoy dancing to or hearing on the radio. While her voice might not have been as powerhouse as some other singers of that era, her charm and popularity easily translated into solid record sales. Many fans were simply delighted to hear Annette's cheerful tone and see her Grace album covers, often wearing modest, fashionable attire that mirrored her Disney persona. One reason these songs connected with audiences was their thematic resonance. Lyrics often revolved around innocent crushes, adolescent hopes, and the sweetness of first love. They mirrored Annette's own persona, wholesome and approachable, without the heavier or more controversial themes that some other pop or rock and roll songs were beginning to explore. Parents approved, and teens could relate. As such, her records contributed significantly to her standing as one of the era's most cherished teen stars. She also performed live, notably on shows like Disneyland After Dark. Such performances offered fans a glimpse into Annette's stage presence, which blended her dancing skills with her gentle voice. She radiated warmth and sincerity, qualities that fans had come to expect from a Disney-trained entertainer. Her polite girl-next-door image contrasted with the edgier icons that would eventually emerge in the 1960s, setting her apart in a pop music landscape that was becoming increasingly diverse. Interestingly, Annette's music career served as a sort of transitional platform, bridging her sweet Disney image with the more playful roles that awaited her in Hollywood. It also gave her leverage to remain in the public eye after the Mickey Mouse Club ended. Many child stars fade from view once their show is canceled, but Annette's foray into music, along with her film roles, kept her relevant. She became a recognizable name not just to Disney fans, but to mainstream radio listeners, a distinction that many child actors never achieve. Still, Annette consistently downplayed her ambitions in singing. Publicly, she seemed almost shy about her success in this arena, reiterating that she never intended to be a professional singer. In retrospect, her modesty may have been part of what made her success so endearing. There was no pretension. Rather, it was just a talented young woman guided by good timing, industry connections, and the unstoppable Disney promotional machine. The result was a catalog of songs that, while perhaps not as critically lauded as some of the era's big hits, remain nostalgic favorites for many who grew up in the late 50s and early 60s. Beach Party Films, an evolving persona. Toward the mid-1960s, when her contract with Disney ended, Annette continued to appear in more mature film roles. In 1963, she starred in the film Beach Party and continued to appear in many similar films in the years that followed. The films often co-starred Frankie Avalon. The production company American International Pictures profited significantly from Annette's films and decided to offer her a contract. Her new on-screen persona was very different from the one she had projected during her Disney years. She was requested by Disney to wear modest bikinis, but she refused. Over the years, she appeared in many beach films, such as Bikini Beach, Pajama Party, Muscle Beach Party, and How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. Wild. Later, career and personal life. By the late 1960s, Annette Funicello began to lose interest in her acting career. The cultural landscape was undergoing seismic changes. The emergence of the British invasion in music, the counterculture movement, and more socially conscious film and television productions. The once untouched world of surf music and harmless hijinks was evolving into an environment that questioned authority, embraced experimental art, and tackled serious social issues. Annette, who had risen to fame in a more conservative era, found herself at a crossroads. In numerous interviews, Annette expressed a simple dream. She wished for a cozy home life and envisioned having a large family with as many as 9 children. This longing for domestic tranquility is understandable when one considers that she had spent much of her teenage years in the spotlight, adhering to demanding schedules and public expectations. The idea of stepping away from it all might have seemed like a breath of fresh air. For a while, she took fewer film roles, seeking a certain quiet that fame simply could not provide. Her last major film from that period was Head, 1968, a surreal musical adventure starring the Monkees. The film was quite a departure from the light-hearted beach movies, integrating psychedelic imagery and satirical commentary on fame and the media. The choice to appear in Head showcased Annette's openness to different kinds of projects, but after that, she stepped away from feature films for nearly 2 decades. It wasn't until 1987 that Annette returned to the big screen in Back to the Beach, a nostalgic nod to the teen beach movies of the 1960s. The film reunited her with Frankie Avalon, rekindling the joyful chemistry that fans remembered. In the film, Annette and Frankie played middle-aged parents going back to their old beach stomping grounds, allowing for self-parody and playful references to their original beach roles. This comeback reminded fans of how much they had missed her presence and how integral she was to the tapestry of 1960s pop culture. On television, Annette periodically made guest appearances on various shows, including Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas Special, Full House, Growing Pains, and Lots of Luck. These appearances range from cameos that played on her Disney or beach movie image to more straightforward roles. Though she was not seeking to reestablish a full-time television career, these appearances kept her name in circulation and allowed her to explore creative outlets on her own terms. Her personal life, meanwhile, was eventful. In 1965, Annette married Jack Gilardi, a talent agent with the William Morris Agency. Their union lasted until 1981 and brought 3 children into the world. Navigating marriage and motherhood while being a recognized celebrity was no easy feat, but Annette embraced her role as a mother wholeheartedly. Reports from the Times suggest she strove to give her children a stable upbringing, shielding them from the frenzy of Hollywood as much as possible. By the 1980s, Annette found love again with racehorse trainer Glenn Holt. They were frequently seen together and eventually married in 1986. Their relationship was one of mutual support, which would prove especially vital during her later struggles with multiple sclerosis. Though the public didn't know it yet, Annette's health was already being challenged, and Glenn Holt stood by her through the difficult years. Friendship also played a key role in Annette's life. She developed close bonds with other entertainers, including Shelley Fabares, another singer-actress well known in the 1960s, and Mouseketeer Lonnie Burr. Annette later revealed that Lonnie was her first boyfriend, an endearing detail that underscores how her earliest romantic experiences were connected to the uniquely communal environment of the Mickey Mouse Club. Raised as a Catholic, Annette maintained her faith throughout her life, even as she stepped into the unpredictable world of show business. This devotion perhaps offered her a moral compass and source of comfort as she dealt with the rigors of performing, public scrutiny, and personal challenges. Her abiding faith would later provide her with resilience when confronted with the life-altering news of her multiple sclerosis diagnosis. Multiple sclerosis diagnosis and legacy. In 1992, at age 50, Annette went public with devastating news. She had multiple sclerosis, MS, a debilitating neurological disorder. She had the most severe form of the disease and, over the years, lost her ability to walk, relying first on a cane, then on a wheelchair. She eventually lost her ability to talk and faded from public view. Despite her illness, Annette went on to launch several new business ventures, including a line of collectible teddy bears. She also authored an optimistic, scandal-free autobiography, which became a highly rated TV movie. Hoping to find an eventual cure for MS and other neurological disorders, she established the Annette Funicello Research Fund for Neurological Diseases. Death and farewell. On April 8, 2013, news broke that Annette Funicello had passed away at Mercy Southwest Hospital in Bakersfield, California, due to complications related to multiple sclerosis. She was just 70 years old. For many, this was an end of an era, the loss of a beloved figure who symbolized childhood innocence, teenage excitement, and a gentler time in entertainment history. The outpouring of grief from fans, former co-stars, and the entertainment community was immediate and heartfelt. Condolences and tributes flowed across social media platforms and mainstream media outlets. While her condition had been public knowledge for many years, the finality of her passing still came as a poignant moment. In an era where celebrity culture often thrives on scandal and sensational headlines, Annette's story stood out for its wholesomeness and genuine warmth. Many remembered her iconic Disney roles, her wide-eyed enthusiasm as a Mouseketeer, and her transformation into the quintessential beach movie star. Others recalled her unwavering faith and philanthropy, particularly the establishment of the Annette Funicello Research Fund for Neurological Diseases, which continues to offer hope and resources to those affected by MS and similar conditions. Still more remembered personal interactions, describing her as the same sweet-natured person off-camera that she was on screen. Her funeral was private, reflecting Annette's lifelong preference for a respectful, non-sensational approach to personal matters. But public memorials and tributes took place in the following weeks and months. Disney fans worldwide paid homage by sharing stories of how the Mickey Mouse Club influenced their childhood. Some even revisited her films, hosting viewing parties of Beach Party and Back to the Beach as a way to celebrate the nostalgic joy she brought to millions. In the years since her passing, Annette's legacy has only grown. Retrospectives on Disney history invariably include her name as one of its brightest and most enduring stars. Movie historians cite her beach films as key artifacts of 1960s pop culture, capturing the carefree spirit of a decade poised on the cusp of immense social change. Younger generations discover her through Disney archives, DVD collections, and streaming services, often marveling at how she balanced a strict, family-friendly image with a certain gentle rebelliousness, like wearing two-piece swimsuits on screen despite Disney's reservations. The phrase, "Goodbye, Annette Funicello," resonates as more than a farewell to a celebrity. It's a tribute to a woman whose life story paralleled America's broader cultural shifts, from the buttoned-up 1950s to the youth-centric 1960s, into the more individualistic decades that followed. She was living proof that fame does not have to corrupt authenticity, and that kindness, humility, and resilience can shine through even the glitz of Hollywood. As time moves on, Annette remains a symbol of simpler times, a reflection of when families would gather around a black and white television to watch a Mickey Mouse cartoon, followed by an appearance from their favorite Mouseketeer. From there, they followed her into the silly musical fun of beach movies, and later offered their prayers and support as she faced a devastating illness. Her passing closed a chapter in pop culture history, but her grace, strength, and warmth endure.